This is KGW News at noon.
The wind is howling this noon. Our reporter Bryant Clerkley up at Crown Point, who posted this video on Twitter. He, along with a number of other people, are at the Vista House experiencing the powerful wind gusts. And the wind is causing issues. Trees are down, like this one at Northeast 9th and Tillamook in Portland. It landed right between two houses. There are also thousands of people without power. You're looking at a Portland General Electric outage map right now. More than 5,000 customers are in the dark, though that exact number keeps fluctuating. Pacific Power and Clark County PUD are also reporting some outages. Thanks for joining us here at noon. Christine Pitawanich here and Chris McGinnis in the Weather Center tracking everything. So, Chris, how long are we expecting all this wind to last?
You know, I think the winds have probably just about peaked out, but we still have several more hours of gusty wind in the forecast. And with that in mind, here's a look at the wind advisory, which basically impacts a good chunk of Washington County, Clackamas County, almost all of Multnomah County, and a good chunk of Clark County until 7 a.m. tomorrow. I think we've peaked out, but we're still in a good 12-hour period plus of some real gusty wind in our forecast. High wind warning continues for parts of the Columbia River Gorge, where you saw that video from Bryant Clerkley just getting blasted with those east winds up at Crown Point. Here's a look at Futurecast late this evening, and you can see right there here in Portland our model suggesting 33-mile-an-hour wind gusts out of the east through the evening hours. Not nearly as strong, though, as you get south into the Willamette Valley towards Salem, Corvallis, and Eugene. They've actually had some problems with fog and air stagnation in the southern Willamette Valley. But even into tomorrow, the wind's still pretty gusty through the Columbia River Gorge and on the east side of Portland. Right now, we are mostly clear. We hop over to the east side, and the clouds and the fog have been kind of an issue for the East Gorge, the Columbia Basin, and north central Oregon. This is the live look right now on the Dalles, and that's having a pretty big impact on the temperatures out there. Right now, it's 46 here in Portland. Check out the Dalles, only 38. It's 23 in Bend, where they've been socked in with cloud cover. So the other side of the story here is that if you're not experiencing the gusty east wind, you're likely stuck under an inversion and some cloud cover. So we've got the sunshine here in Portland. Sunset today at 4:38. And the wind gusts will continue probably in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range, with the occasional peaks higher than that well into tonight and probably early tomorrow morning before they finally settle down. Christine?
Okay, thank you, Chris. So wind hasn't been the only issue today. ODOT shared these photos this morning, urging caution on icy roads. I-84 eastbound, east of Pendleton, was closed. It's now back open. Still, take it slow if you're headed out in that direction. Here's a quick look at Trip Check. You can see traffic moving pretty slow east of Pendleton. Right now, westbound traffic is being impacted too. ODOT saying that they don't want any semi-trucks on that stretch of road. They're working on getting the whole situation cleared up, but it's still going to be slow going for some. Bottom line, drive safe and check Trip Check before hopping on I-84 if you're headed that way. Now to a developing story that we have been tracking out of Washington County. The Washington County Sheriff's Office is investigating a double homicide that happened overnight. Here's a map that shows where it happened. It's in a rural part of the county along Shoals Ferry Road. Here's what we know so far. Deputies say around 8 o'clock last night, they found two people dead inside a home near the intersection of Southwest Shoals Ferry Road and Shoals Sherwood Road. Another person was found with an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. They were taken to the hospital and later died. Detectives have not released much information, but they're expected to tell us more later today. We'll have the latest on air and online at kgw.com. And today, classes are canceled in the Rainier School District after multiple news sightings of a fugitive police call armed and dangerous. A 41-year-old man named Kevin Reynolds is the person they're looking for. You can see this video from overnight where police were searching along Highway 30 between Westport and Clatskanie. Reynolds was last spotted yesterday in Westport, about 23 miles west of Rainier. Police have not confirmed where they think Reynolds might be right now, but investigators say he's been on the run for weeks, and a number of small communities are now caught in the middle of all this. Catherine Cook has an update from Columbia County.
As the sun set over Rainier Wednesday, the search for a fugitive continued. Columbia County Sheriff's deputies spent a second day and night combing through brush and outbuildings for Kevin Reynolds. The 41-year-old is wanted out of Cowlitz County and considered armed and dangerous. He faces multiple charges, including robbery 1 and felon in possession of a firearm. On Tuesday, authorities learned he was staying in Rainier. Sheriff Brian Pixley says that's when things turned violent.
When we responded, the suspect exited the trailer, produced a firearm, pointed it at several police officers and bystanders in the area, fired one shot at a passerby, and then disappeared into the woods.
It's unfortunate. Our community is afraid. Our students, our staff are afraid.
Dr. Joseph Hattrick is Rainier School District Superintendent. Around 12:30 Wednesday, he activated a lock-in, keeping kids inside in cooperation with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. Deputies had set up a perimeter near the school to search for Reynolds. Normally, kids would have gone home around 1 o'clock Wednesday, but they stayed until 2:20 when deputies gave the all clear.
The comforting thing to hear from Columbia County Sheriff throughout the day was our students are safest here. Let's keep them off the roads. Let's keep them in a safe place. And so we did that.
With Reynolds still on the loose, the district announced that schools would remain closed on Thursday. Investigators are still searching for Reynolds as a community waits on edge.
But I think the number one thing is just fear and anxiety that there's someone out in our community right now that we have no idea where or how to prepare for that.
If anyone sees Kevin Reynolds or knows where he is, they're asked to call 911 right away. Again, he's considered armed and dangerous. In Rainier, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Now to an update on a story that is getting national attention. We're learning more about the deaths of 4 University of Idaho students who were killed near campus. Earlier this week, police had said there was no threat to the public. Now they're walking that back, saying the person who killed the students is still out there and they don't know who they are. Police also believe the crime was targeted, though there was no sign of forced entry.
I will tell you, we are looking at everyone. Every tip we get, every lead we get, there's no one that we're not going to talk to. There's no one we're not going to interview. There's no one that we're not going to look into.
Police also say there were 2 other roommates inside the home during the attack, but they were not hurt. Investigators are still trying to work out the timeline of what happened. They think the students were killed early Sunday morning, but the 911 call didn't come in until just before noon. They haven't said who called or why it took so long. Police say the students were killed with a knife, which still has not been found. The medical examiner has finished the autopsies at this point and will now turn that information over to the coroner to determine how they died. Today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced she will be stepping down from her senior leadership role in the Democratic Party. Her announcement comes as Republicans cement control of the House. For 2 decades, she was the top Democrat in the House of Representatives. During her speech, she said she has, quote, great confidence in the future of her party and new leadership. Pelosi will continue to represent her California district in the House, although she has indicated she will not seek re-election to key Democratic leadership. She hasn't spoken on her plans to run for re-election in 2024. And closer to home, earlier this month, Oregon voters narrowly approved some of the strictest gun laws in the country. We now know Measure 114 will take effect on December 8th, exactly 1 month after Election Day. Among the changes the measure calls for is a police-issued permit and a background check to buy a gun. Oregon State Police gave an update on the measure yesterday. They tell us recently they've seen a significant uptick in background check requests. Take a look at this graph. It shows the daily average of background check requests in Oregon. In 2018 and 2019, it was around 750 to 800 every day. On the right side, around the pre-election number there was a little higher, still in the ballpark though. But now, after the midterms, the system is averaging about 4,000 a day. And state police say during election week, there were over 18,000. Several county sheriffs have said they won't enforce some parts of the new law. Meanwhile, police say they're working with partners like the Department of Justice on how to implement Measure 114. And everything going on with Measure 114 is pretty complex. So for more in-depth attention and a more in-depth dive, you can tune into The Story. They tackle all the big issues affecting our community. That's every weekday at 6 o'clock only on KGW.